So what if I tell you that there are not 2 but 3 albedos in the game? Yep, you heard me right. There is one more albedo, or we can say imposter, hanging around in the dragon spine, and we also see that imposter in the part 2 of the new story event. So this particular sequence leaves so many questions, and in today's video I'll tell you guys about the most logical answer, and also we'll look at the history of albedo. So hello my dear Hillbilly trolls, this is your Bismate speaking. So before starting off this video, I have a daily commission for you. So your first commission is to like this video, your second commission is to subscribe this channel, your third commission is to share this video, and your fourth and final commission is to comment on this video. So Bard, roll the intro. So during the new event, we learned that there is an imposter posing as albedo and who looks exactly like him, and later on we found out that the imposter was the giant Whopperflower boss in disguise, and we also see one more albedo in the ending of the part 2 sequence. So we'll talk about this sequence later on this video. So moreover, albedo during the new story quest, the Snowy Past, directly confirmed that Ryan Daughter and Gold are the same person. So you guys might be wondering now, that is Ryan Daughter evil, seeing she is the one who created Durin and tons of nasty monsters like the Rift Hounds and the Golden Wolf Lord. So before all this, first we need to take a look at albedo's story as told in the character profiles. So long story short, albedo is an artificial human who was created by Ryan Daughter. She is an alchemist from Khaenri'ah, and she is described as cold and strict, and she is also friends with Alice, Klee's mom. So ever since albedo was created, he got the knowledge of alchemy by Ryan Daughter, and they explore dungeons and domains together. And one day, after finding the heart of Nebrius, Ryan left albedo, telling him to go to Mondstadt and find the truth of the world. Albedo then became the chief alchemist of the Knight of Favonius, thanks to the recommendation letter of Alice that Ryan left for him. Another thing we know is that Gold, another alchemist from Khaenri'ah, created Durin and other monsters, including the newly introduced Rift Hounds. It's just a speculation though, and it's still unclear, but it looks like albedo believes Gold was Ryan Daughter herself, and it's because of his master creations that Khaenri'ah was destroyed. Well, I think most of you know this part, that an alchemist was responsible behind the destruction of Khaenri'ah. Albedo believes that he could too end up destroying a nation, which is obviously Mondstadt, because he is one of the Ryan's creations. Although we all know that albedo is not evil, but what about this imposter, which albedo called Subject 2 in the part 3 of the event? So it turns out that Gold, albedo's creator, has created more than one albedo to come to true perfection. So there are 2 albedos at the moment. One is the real albedo and the other the experiment that failed, and Gold simply abandoned it. The failed albedo, who is also the artificial human, was eaten by Durin, but somehow he survived and he got out and tried to replace the albedo during this event. So if you guys are wondering that how he is able to do all this, so let me tell you that the failed albedo stole the notes from the camp and made a copy of albedo. You know what I mean? Of course I'm talking about that Whopperflower which we fought earlier. So this was to make the flower albedo to distract the real albedo and us and make our guard down, and defeating the flower albedo, which actually happened. We defeated the alleged imposter, so that problem is gone and everyone is happy. But yes, the failed albedo will wait for the perfect moment to attack the real albedo and probably the traveler, because the traveler also knows the secrets of albedo. In the last scene, albedo conducts a monologue which is also directed at the failed albedo. The real albedo tries to put himself in the shoes of the failed albedo, understanding that if he were the one who was abandoned, he would also do whatever he can to kill and replace a successful experiment. He would do exactly the same. So we know that albedo was sympathized by the failed albedo's motives of replacing him. We also see that the failed albedo looking and observing the real albedo from above. It was the moment when albedo grasped what was happening and set out to kill the flower albedo. So the failed albedo wants to kill the real one and be in his place to finally feel the joy of being in this world. It's very sad, and it's also touching that the real albedo sympathize with him in a way. So in short, the event is is about to get over, but there is actually one more fake albedo hanging around in Dragonspine, waiting for the perfect moment to kill albedo. So will MiHoYo bring it up again? What do you think? Write down your opinions in comments. But even if the albedo was fake or not, I believe in one thing, that my Bard is actually real. Right, Bard? So yeah, my dear Hillbillies Rituals, this is all we know about the second albedo so far. So if you found this video informative, then like this video and also subscribe to this channel. So now, take care my dear Hillbillies Rituals.